The great VR debate. Which VR headset is worth your money with the high price tags? Hi everybody, welcome back to Daily Gamer Opinion. I am Joe the Widget Wilson. A little heads up before we begin this episode. Excuse the haircut. I'll be getting a haircut soon, as well as getting a new camera, getting things better, green screen, things like that in the near future. So in a couple weeks you'll have better episodes. But for now, let's talk about the great VR debate, which is the main three VR headsets virtual reality. You have the PlayStation 4, Oculus Rift, and the VIve. Why did I forget the name of the manufacturer? HTC, no, not HTC. Anyway, the VIve is basically from the Steam store. It's a partnership with Steam. Now, you would think that being partnered with Steam, that it would have a huge title list. And it has the second largest title list of the group. Let's talk about hardware first. See, the reason I'm bringing this up is that I'm going to be getting a VR headset in the near future, within the next couple of weeks. And I have been researching and debating this for over 2 weeks now on which one that I want to get. I have a PlayStation 4, so the VR headset was in the mix, the PlayStation VR. However, there are some things about the PlayStation VR that kind of dropped it off the list, and let's get into that. The VR, let's go with PlayStation 4, the PlayStation VR first. The PlayStation VR has a really good refresh rate, but it's completely reliant on the PlayStation 4. And I'm not even going to be talking about your phone headsets, the little $50 ones, because they're not even in the same category as these. They don't have the hardware, they don't have anything the same as the real VR. The PlayStation 4 has hardware limitations, and it has good support with PlayStation. They have some really cool, unique titles coming out for it. The Star Wars one almost made me want to buy the PlayStation VR, but not enough. There wasn't enough titles for it. They have some really cool stuff like Gollum coming out, but the title list for PlayStation VR is dramatically shorter and smaller than the other two. The reason is they don't have the independent developer support for it, because PlayStation doesn't allow it. Well, they do, but it's a lot more of a pain in the neck to get a independent developed game out for PlayStation VR than it is for, well, basically Steam or the Oculus store. Now, you would think with the Oculus store, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, the Oculus has some hardware issues. It is the one that goes to mind when you think of VR, because they're the ones that really started the new virtual reality generation. Everyone's heard in the gaming world's heard of the Oculus Rift. Now, it does have some hardware problems, but it's reliant on your PC. Both the Vive and the Oculus are reliant on your PC. If you don't have a PC that can handle VR, which there's multiple ways you can check it, Steam has a VR checker right on their store. Use that if you're not sure, but it recommends an i5 or greater, or an NVIDIA 960 or greater. So if you don't have those and you have a PlayStation 4, PlayStation VR is the one for you, because that's guaranteed to work. However, I have a great PC, and I know that I can handle any VR headset with flying colors. The Oculus comes with standard Xbox controller, which doesn't really work for half of its games, so you want to get the Oculus Touch, which increases the price tag by $200, which still puts it less than the Vive. The Vive is $800. Okay, the PlayStation VR is the cheapest one, but anytime you're looking at a VR headset, you're going to need peripherals. So the PlayStation VR, you need the PlayStation camera, you need the Move controllers. There's games that don't require Move controllers, but I guarantee you, if you want to have the full library, you need to get them if you don't have them already. If you have all that, then the PlayStation VR is going to be the cheapest option for you by far. I think like 400, or 300 or 400. Now the Vive has everything that you need with it. That's why it's got an $800 price tag. It has motion sensors, 2 motion sensors for room sensors that you can create an actual boundary for your room, which makes the Vive pretty awesome. The Oculus does not. If you want to buy the Oculus, you have to get the touch controllers, which is, like I said, is another $200. When it comes to the Vive and the Oculus, the hardware specs are almost identical. They have nearly the same refresh rate. People have reported the screen door effect on both of them, really. I did a poll on Twitter as well as Facebook, and Vive won it all with Oculus right there in the middle. Sorry. Now let's talk about gaming. The actual games is what matters for the VR's headsets. The Oculus, I'm going to just cut to the chase here, has more titles by far. If you look up any like top 10 list, top 20 list, which I'll put some of them in the comments below, you'll see that the Oculus dominates those lists. And not only does it dominate with exclusives that are only found on Oculus, but ones that are shared between all systems. PlayStation VR, Vive, as well as Oculus, or Vive and Oculus. I looked at the Steam store, and it is all Oculus and Vive. So not only do you have the Steam store for Oculus as well, but you have the Oculus store. And they even have Minecraft VR. Hi, Katie. My little co-host, Shark. They have the Minecraft for VR for Oculus. They have Bethesda's coming out with all their titles for Oculus. You've got a lot of exclusives for Oculus that make it so worth it. So to cut this episode where it's at right now, the Vive has some really cool hardware features with the room. The room surround, if you really want a good party system, that's one of the best. If you like moving around a lot, it's great. It doesn't have the third-party support like Oculus has, but it has still some phenomenal games for it. They have one exclusive that does make the top 20 lists on most every list, but only one. The PlayStation VR doesn't have a single one that makes the top 20 list. That's just PlayStation VR yet, because a lot of titles are still coming out for it. But if you don't have a great PC and you do have a PlayStation 4, the PlayStation VR is yours, the one for you. Just keep in mind, you're going to need to buy the Move controllers as well as the PlayStation camera to really give it full effect. The Oculus Rift, if you're not worried about the whole room movement and you want one, the touch controllers are phenomenal. They are really cool. I had a chance to play with them. I've played with the Vive as well as the Oculus, and they both are. I didn't see any difference in terms of visuals. So, if you want more titles available and you're worried about Bethesda games like Fallout 4 VR, you want Minecraft VR, which I really want, really do, you're going to go Oculus. If you want like I said, the room experience and you have the money to burn, the Vive would be your option. So, in a nutshell, it depends on what you have and what you're looking for. Me personally, I'm looking for the titles. So I am going to go Oculus Rift. And that is my opinion of the VR debate.